Hello and welcome back to An Abundance of Naught for November the 18th. Garrett here with Brad and Wade.
Merry Christmas.
And Happy New Year.
You both suck. You are both a couple of sons of bitches.
No, they're already playing Christmas music where I work.
Fuck you both.
So I just got confused. I'm sorry.
There's another holiday. It's this next week.
Yes, I know.
After that holiday, you can say Merry fucking Christmas all you want. It's not that time yet.
I do believe we have touched a nerve.
It's not that goddamn time yet.
I know. I'm just screwing with you.
Pray to the turkey god first, and then to the fat guy who brings you presents god next. Okay? Orders. Process.
I thought there were doors in a forest.
Well, there's that too. I mean, even still, there's a fat turkey before a Christmas tree. So, just saying, don't skip doors. That's all I'm saying.
You've got to go through them in order.
For those who caught that reference, that was a Nightmare Before Christmas reference.
Yes, it was.
How you guys doing?
I did catch it, by the way.
Nice. Good. Glad
Yay.
you caught it.
Yeah, me too. I am doing absolutely superbly. How about you?
I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm doing well.
Good.
Good here, too.
Are you sure? That seemed uncertain.
Well, I'm not as well as I could be. That's for sure. I had a dentist appointment on Monday of what should be normally routine. However, while there, I found out I had another cracked tooth. Apparently, a filling went bad. Which, I mean, it happens, right? I mean, I'm not
Sure.
super frustrated about that. But so I go to a periodontal for gum health because I've had issues when I was younger and I'm getting that under control. And then I had a standard checkup directly thereafter. Well, it was a new dentist I hadn't seen before from the inspection. Apparently, she's been there for a couple of years, but I've always just gone on days where she wasn't there. And she points out that I have one filling that apparently a cavity is formed underneath it. I might need a root canal, which pissed me the hell off because that's the second time they've pulled that crap on me. I've got the chipped tooth that we knew about, and then apparently some small side cavities that are either starting or at risk. But my issue was I was there last month for a chipped tooth. They didn't decide to inspect anything else. I'm in there every 3 months for cleaning. Nobody sees or says anything. And then I go in and I get this whole unload of what everything's wrong. And I feel like it's a huge like bait and switch type of theory or mentality with them.
Sure.
And so it really, really just pissed me off because a root canal is going to cost me about $600 that I don't exactly have right now. I mean, I can.
Is it a back tooth?
Yeah, it's a molar.
Just pull it.
I don't want to pull it.
No, I'm serious.
I mean, I've already got one root canal.
Yeah, but it's... I mean, I had one of my back teeth shattered. Not quite shattered. It broke a fairly significant chunk off. And they wanted to do a root canal on it. And... I want to say it was going to be, well, no, I don't remember exactly how much, but it was a shit ton of money. And it was going to be like $200 to pull it.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yay.
$150 to pull it. And I just, you know what, get rid of it. And it's been fine. You don't miss it. It takes a little bit to get used to it first, but
That's when
if
you're
it was
like...
one of your front teeth that you see, okay, maybe. But it's a back tooth.
Sure.
Get rid of it. You've got spares. Don't worry about it.
What was
I
that?
don't really, but I
What
mean,
was that thing about teeth? When you're alive, need constant care, but when you're dead, they last forever.
something like that. Yeah, so I mean, I've been dealing with that, coping with that for the past couple days now, just because the first root canal I had with them I had a cavity that had a filling, but apparently the filling had loosened or stuff got underneath it and had caused an issue. And they noticed it and said, well, hey, we see this is going on. If it doesn't bother you, just let us know if it happens to bother you. Okay, fine. Whatever. You guys are the experts. Apparently it must not be that serious if you don't want to do anything about it. Well, the next time I go back in, they said, was this bothering you? I said, well, not really. I said, oh, well, you need a root canal. What? Like, if it was that bad before, why didn't we do something about it? You told me it wasn't really a big deal, and now I need a root canal. Like, what the hell? So I kind of feel like deja vu right now with them, and it's frustrating.
Absolutely.
What else is going on?
I can appreciate that.
I'm doing better than you.
There you go. Something I wanted to bring up last week, I didn't get a chance to. There's a store in our local mall that I've seen a couple times, but never really gotten a chance to go into. And it happens to be right across from the Lego store, which is usually where I go. Exactly. But it's called The Art of Shaving. And it's pretty much a men's grooming store. The women get the whole goddamn mall. We get the food court, the Lego store, and now this Art of Shaving store.
Equality! No.
And so I was curious about what all they had, so I ended up picking up a starter kit for what they offer. And their starter kit includes a pre-shave type of oil, a shave cream that is alcohol-free, a lather brush, which is
then what are you supposed to drink?
Very cute. And it's not that kind of alcohol, buddy.
Damn.
Jesus. Give him one Jack and Coke and he just turns into a lush, man.
An alcoholic.
Jesus Christ.
Looking for like the rubbing alcohol.
Seriously. You going to start drinking NyQuil just for the buzz or what? Cough syrup?
I hear it's good stuff.
It'll help you sleep. But no, I picked up this stuff. They really are a very interesting store. They've got everything from your straight razors for those that want a more traditional shave. They've got the safety razors that are definitely a closer shave than you get with the, Gillette type stuff. And kind of involved. And I like to think of myself as somewhat eccentric. And I found myself very curious about it. I know, right? Shocker.
He's sitting here in a vest. That's eccentric, all right?
And and cufflinks too. Don't bypass my cufflinks. See, the nice thing about this weather right now, Brad, is that I'm not sweating profusely.
Sure.
It's just sitting here doing nothing. It's actually very, very comfortable.
During the summer, we're like sitting here with rags and like ice water
to cool ourselves off. So, if anyone's looking for maybe a better shave experience and also maybe a little bit more care for our face, also their starter kit does include an aftershave lotion. So, if you're interested in anything like that or whatever, for anybody out there, the art of shaving, it's intriguing,
Very nice.
I think that's mainly it. Over this past weekend, I had martial arts testing with my daughter, a renowned success. And then I had a pool tournament. Saturday was a success. Sunday, not so much. So I wasted half my weekend up there for zero monetary gain.
Oh,
I know, right?
Yeah, but you had fun, mostly, kind of.
Mostly, kind of, a little bit. Sure.
Yeah.
Never heard so many qualifiers.
Sort of ish.
Exactly.
Well, let's see. For me, I have a 3-day weekend coming up, so it means I get to do a lot of stuff on the channel. And pretty much nothing else. I get to sit around in my undergarments working on the channel. It's great.
Surprised you wear undergarments.
And this is different than normal, how?
That's a fair question, actually.
I get an extra day.
How's this fucking different from normal?
I get an extra day.
Oh, okay. An extra day.
He doesn't have to get dressed for one more day.
That's right.
Nice.
Then you worked most of this past weekend, right? You only had Saturday off?
Yeah.
So now this weekend you are able to recover from that?
Then the next weekend after that, which would be with Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Apparently the 2 senior people above me in the unit want to work, and they only need 2 people to work that day. So it's like, all right, I'll take that another 3-day weekend.
So, because that's a holiday, or is there like extra pay involved in that?
I still get paid for that day.
You do, but the people that working, do they get like time and a half?
They get double time, I think.
They get double time?
But
gotcha.
they're seniority, so they get, first choice.
Sure.
It's like, but you know what? I'm not going to scoff at another 4-day weekend. Still get paid for a 5-day. There's not weekend. 5-day work week. Only work 4 days and still get paid for it, as if it was 5.
Got it.
Hey, I'd take that.
Yeah, gift horse in the mouth kind of thing.
Yep. So our weekend was mostly quiet. Didn't do a whole lot. There was no football game for us this weekend, so nothing on that front. We did go shopping though.
Uh-oh.
With the change in my work position lately, I felt it was time to upgrade wardrobe.
Oh, nice.
Especially given the types of meetings that I'm getting involved in now. They're definitely more upscale meetings with more important people at our customers. So, I had purchased a suit for our meeting back in whenever the fuck that was, April.
Yes, that you didn't end up having to wear because the fucking company sucks.
Did we do a warning for this podcast?
No, I let off with you guys fucking suck. So, I mean, that was our warning.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure there.
We're into it, dude. Keep the fuck up.
Right.
Okay, you dick.
So the issue with the suit that we got back in April was that, it was. They didn't tell us we needed it. I didn't used to own a suit. They didn't tell us we needed it until the day before I left for the home office.
Yep.
So
of which I did not have one to wear. Didn't care.
Whatever I could off the rack. And it was a decent suit, but it wasn't great.
Sure.
We took you to Goodwill and
not quite, but not far. So again, now with these more important meetings, we decided, you know what? Let's spend a little bit on a proper suit and get this done. So shopped around, did a little online shopping, and finally ended up at Men's Warehouse where they happened to be having a sale.
Nice.
And I got myself a designer suit by Kenneth Cole.
Okay. I was just going to ask the brand.
Tailored.
Yes.
Yep.
Has to be tailored.
So it has to be tailored. So Kenneth Cole suit, tailored to fit me. I haven't picked it up yet. It should be ready next week. $700 suit on sale for 3 C notes.
Nice.
Yep.
So my
and
first
that was with the tailoring.
My first job was at Men's Warehouse.
Nice.
So and I actually met George. He's very short. You never really get that from the commercials when he was in it. He's since been ousted by the company. The board of directors voted him out. But when I was there, their top of the line suit was $500. But yeah, the tailoring's all done in house unless they've changed that.
Yep.
The suits come requiring at least a hem. The pants are always unhemmed and excessive, but a good suit needs to be tailored. And for me, my chest diameter, which I think at the time was a 40, now I'm closer to like a 44, to my shoulder diameter was a big discrepancy. So I had to get what's called a raised back because the material across the shoulders and the back is kind of pulled tight, and they have to, I don't know what they do in tailoring, but they have to relieve that stress. And because I was pretty V'd torso at the time, I wasn't nearly carrying the kegerator around my midsection that I am now. They had to totally recut the pants for me and pretty much make pants from damn near scratch because my physique was what it was. Now it may not be as bad, but
they're taking the pants in a little bit. I didn't have to go to all that trouble with the pants, but my jacket was a little bit of an issue. I had to go to the big and tall section not for the tallness, to get my suit jacket, but then they had to take it in, and I had to go for a big and tall but slim jacket.
What?
So it's a slim-fitting, big and tall jacket.
It's a slim fit. Again, same kind of issue. I have a little bit of a stomach, but it's mostly my shoulders. I've got broad shoulders, so I had to go for a big and tall to get it to fit across my shoulders, and then they had to take it in some.
Yep.
But it's a slim fit, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like the slim fits. I mean, from the look of it, some of the slim fits, I'll say it. Let me preface it that some that I've seen look cheap. They look like they're off the rack, just kind of thin material, nothing flashy. I think I personally like a little bit thicker material for suits because it adds a little bit more of the weight to it. Not a heavy weight, but like a depth and a quality feel when you're looking at it. It doesn't look like it's almost, like a t-shirt material just flapping there. It actually has some body. But I'm honest, there's thin cut. From a tailoring standpoint, then obviously there's thin materials, there's that kind of stuff. So
it definitely was not thin materials. It was the same stuff as their regular suits. It was just a slim cut.
Yeah.
So, hey, next time I have meetings out there at the office, I'll have to rock my suit.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'll have an opportunity here in February or something? Is that when you guys are back out?
Yeah, that's when we're back out for meetings.
Yep.
So I'll turn up in the company limo wearing my suit.
Nice.
Dark shades,
Yep.
Wait for them to open the door.
Good luck with that.
Single malt scotch on the rocks.
Single malt on the rocks.
Shaken, not stirred.
Nice. Very good.
This has been your Dressing Nicer, provided by Abundance of Naught.
Actually, speaking of that, have you seen it? There's a company. It's kind of like Loot Crate, but for apparel.
Yes.
Forget what it's called. I've been mildly curious about that. The problem is some of the shirts that I've seen in their advertisements, whatever, like I would never wear. Like the color, like the like a purple plaid shirt or something. It's like I would not wear that.
Well, the ones I've heard about, though, I've never actually looked into it, but the ones I've heard about, you work with some kind of personal assistant on the other end, and they get a feel for the kind of things you like, and then they send you your first box. But you're not obligated to take it. So they pick what they think you'll like, and they send it to you. You open it, you try everything on, you pick what you like, you pay for the ones you like. The ones you don't like, you send back, and then they put that back into your profile so that it just keeps getting better.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard other ones like that too. I know a friend of mine did something like that for shoes, or she would buy shoes online, have them sent. She'd order 2 or 3 of them, knowing that she might only keep one. Check them out and see, and then send them back. It's a free refund or whatever.
Sure.
So, yeah, I've been curious about trying that out one of these days, months.
International Yum Yums, where they send you snacks from countries around the world each month.
Tell you what, though, these subscription services, there's like the Eat Better one where it's all like healthy snacks. There's the Style one.
Was it mensshaveclub.com?
Men's Shave Club, where they do razors and stuff. Yeah, I mean, these convenience companies they're starting to take over, I think.
Well, now they have...
Awesome. Hey, contact us for sponsorships. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, we'd love to test out your services and advocate for your customers, for sure.
Switching gears a little bit, but something else that you touched on. Speaking of drinking.
Were we?
Yes.
Yes. So I have a rather, I thought it was unique and interesting, let's put it that way, drinking utensil that my lovely wife got me. So I am drinking a Jack and Coke.
Yes.
On the rocks.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes. So it's the rock
watering
cubes?
down. Yeah. Yeah, instead of watering down the whiskey, my wife found me some freezer stones.
Those cannot be cheap.
They cannot be, but they can also be. You can get some decent ones for a reasonable price.
I'm looking real quick because there's a local store down here. I don't want to just blot out their name real quick, but I've seen them there, and if memory serves, I think they're around like the $60+ mark. For the ones here, I'm sure you can get other ones like Amazon or whatever for cheaper.
There's multiple different kind. I mean, there's ones that are metal.
Yep, there's like chrome metal ones. There's the porous stone ones that almost look like a. It's not hummus.
No, it's soapstone.
Pumice stone. Yeah.
Yep.
They
work really well though.
Yeah.
Keep the drink nice and cool without diluting the drink.
Yes, indeed.
Not only do I not like diluted whiskey, I also don't like diluted Pepsi.
Yeah, neither one are good.
Yeah.
But there's another fix for that.
Drink it straight?
Drink it faster. Here they are, whiskey stones. These ones aren't bad. These ones are about $20.
Yep.
Although the reviews for these particular ones, there's one review and it's at 1 star. So
probably why they're $20.
Yeah.
Nobody else wants to buy them.
That's right. I'm trying to get to the review and I'm not getting very far.
All right. Roll on, sir. Roll on.
All right. Well, like a scrub, I don't have the soundboard opened up. So we're going to have to add this in later. They don't do as advertised. I guess they chill your drink slightly below room temperature. I guess if you want your drink cold, but not diluted, put the bottle in the fridge. See, there's that too. You know, if you want cold whiskey and Coke or Pepsi, depending on what you like to mix. I know a lot of people don't like to mix Pepsi with their alcohol, but some do. Put the alcohol bottle in the fridge too. I mean, or freezer actually, because it typically won't freeze.
I was going to say,
the alcohol content's too high.
Put it in the freezer. Alcohol freezes at a much lower temperature than your freezer will go to.
That's correct. Depending on the percentage of alcohol.
Should make a glass with an insert where you freeze water in that.
Like that wine carafe we got for our uncle?
Yeah.
The only problem is when you go to
Somebody should make that.
What happens to the...
You seal it. You have a sealant.
Oh, well. Invent it, make $1 billion, and we'll go fly around the world first class, do whatever the hell we want.
Will?
Yeah.
Don't forget your friends.
That's right. Well, listen,
patent pending.
Advocating it. I'm
Copyright
your number one supporter.
2015, An Abundance of Naught.
That's right. An abundance of cold drinks. New company. All right. Movies. So in the movies this week, a couple big movies. One in particular, The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. Was previously rated at around the mid-80s, is now at 73%. We can all agree that's better than we've seen other movies for a while. Let's take a look here. The second half of the final Hunger Games book is adapted by Lionsgate Productions. That's all you get from Rotten Tomatoes synopsis.
That's it. You want a summary? Read the last half of the book.
It's that next part of that movie series you've been watching up till now. Once again,
look, if you don't know what it is, you're probably not going to like it. So
correct.
You want the summary?
And if you do, then you already know what it is. Move on.
That's right. Before moving on, we will call out the lovely Miss Gwendolyn Christie will be in this particular episode, so to speak, of this movie series. We all know her from Game of Thrones. She will also be the Chrome Stormtrooper in the upcoming Star Wars The Force Awakens movie. I don't know that character's name, so it's the Chrome Stormtrooper.
Oh. Before we move on.
Okay.
Came to mind.
Oh. I did it now.
Recent cameo on Doctor Who.
Okay.
From Game of Thrones, seeing as you mentioned Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Arya was in Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
And another Game of Thrones cameo, or call out, since we're on that theme. I watched the recent Hitman Agent 47 movie that came out, and Mance Rayder is in that.
No.
Yes.
Nice.
Correct. It took me a second to place him, but then a couple of his expressions were made clearly apparent, and I was like, oh, that's who that is. It's Mance. So, anyway, Game of Thrones references here on Abundance of Naught.
Yay.
Number 2 movies. This one is The Night Before, rated at 66%. This is a Seth Rogen and Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie, along with Mindy Kaling, Anthony Mackie, Michael Shannon, and Lizzie Kaplan, to name a few. It is rated R for drug use and language throughout, some strong sexual content, and graphic nudity. Not just nudity, but graphic nudity. Ethan, Isaac, and Chris have been friends since childhood, and for a decade, their yearly Christmas Eve reunion has been the annual night of debauchery and hilarity. Now that they're entering adulthood, the tradition is coming to an end, and to make it as memorable as possible, they set out to find the Nutcracker Ball, the holy grail of Christmas parties.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw what they did there. I will be the first to jump up and say I will not be seeing this in theaters. I am not the biggest Seth Rogen fan. And don't feel like spending $12 a head to go sit through that. Number 3 in the movies this week is Secret in Their Eyes, rated at 67%. This is with, oh God, I can't even pronounce his name. Chiwetel Ejiofor. He was in 12 Years a Slave, among other things. Julia Roberts, Nicole Kidman, Dean Norris, Michael Kelly, and Zoe Graham.
Trust me, you see that name, you cannot say that with confidence. You're like, next.
Yeah, that's correct. He was in The Martian, 12 Years a Slave. I think he played the assassin in Serenity. Yes, that's exactly who it was, the operative. He's been in a bunch of stuff. You'll know him if you saw him. Anyway.
Well, seeing as you made that reference, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Do you?
Heck yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Big Serenity fan.
Yeah, I was late to that movie and franchise, but again, big fan. A tight-knit team of rising investigators, Ray and Jess, along with their supervisor, Claire, is suddenly torn apart when they discover that Jess's teenage daughter has been brutally and inexplicably murdered. Now, 13 years later, after obsessively searching every day for the elusive killer, Ray finally uncovers a new lead that he's certain can permanently resolve the case, nail the vicious murderer, and bring long-desired closure to his team. No one is prepared, however, for the shocking, unspeakable secret that will reveal the enduring, destructive effects of personal vengeance on the human soul.
Aliens.
Dun, dun, dun.
It was aliens.
It was aliens. Aliens did it.
Yep, aliens.
Hey, watch it.
I didn't say foreign aliens. I meant like outer space aliens.
They're still foreign. They're just foreign to the whole world, not just a single country.
Ah.
Bum, bum, bum.
Planetary foreign aliens.
Celestial aliens, one could say.
Extraterrestrial?
Or that too. So that is Secret in Their Eyes. If you're into murder mysteries, sounds like that's right down your alley. Again, 67%. So definitely not one to necessarily pass up on. In the box office this week, we have Spectre pulling in an additional 33.7%. I've heard very, very mixed things about that. The Peanuts movie pulls in another 24 million. The Love the Coopers pulls in 8.3, and The Martian in fourth at 6.7. Let's see. On movie news, I will be seeing The Hunger Games this weekend. It is part of the masterful plan. However, we should call out, I believe we agreed we're not doing a show next week in light of the Thanksgiving holiday and weekend.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Wanted to make sure. So we'll have to touch back on base on that. And since we are not coming back for a week, I might as well touch base on the movies that are coming soon. One of them in particular, actually two that actually are worthwhile in saying, is The Good Dinosaur, the newest addition to the Disney Pixar movie franchise.
That one looks cute.
It does look cute. It does not have a critic rating at this point. It's still a week or so away. But again, that is the movie based on what if the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs missed the Earth and man and dinosaurs evolved, or at least coexisted. So that's The Good Dinosaur. Number 2 is is actually Victor Frankenstein. Sorry, the caption is Meet Your Makers. And that is with Daniel Radcliffe and James McAvoy, who you might know as the young Xavier from the X-Men First Class series. And this is I believe, a slightly more modern telling of the one and only Victor Frankenstein. This currently does not have a critic rating either. It is at PG-13, so a little bit more applicable for the whole family. And lastly, coming out next week is Creed, which is the next boxing movie featuring Sylvester Stallone. It is also rated PG-13. It's with Michael B. Jordan and Tessa Thompson, to name a few. So if you're into the fighting boxing movies, you've got some options. That currently has a rating of 80%. So good on it. Hopefully it holds true. And with that, I suppose we'll jump into the news.
Let's do it.
Take it away, Ernie.
Leading off this week, the favorite 3-letter organization that we love to bash, or one of them anyway.
Which one?
This week, the Idiots of the Week award goes to the TSA.
Yay! Again. We love the TSA.
So I've got a 1-2 punch with this one. We're going to start off with the lead. This one is actually close to home for me, so this happens in Atlanta. Transportation Security Agency is responding after a fairly major security breach. Guy goes to the airport, goes through security, takes his flight, lands, gets out the other end, and realizes that he had forgotten to take his gun out of his carry-on bag.
Isn't that the one that has to go through the security screenings at the TSA stations?
That one.
Which agent did not update their prescription before coming into work?
Someone did not have their coffee.
Yeah. So, I'm sure if he'd sat it next to a water bottle, they would have found it. But, he got to go all the way through with a loaded handgun, and they didn't catch it. I mean, seriously, you have one fucking job. Meanwhile, further south, this one coming from Florida, I believe. I hate it when these pages have so many ads.
Oh, God, yeah.
Now, what's the deal with that these days?
So Fort Lauderdale. A father and son went to Disney World. The son got a souvenir, and TSA confiscated it. It was a Buzz Lightyear toy. They confiscated it because it looked too much like a gun.
Uh-huh. So
evidently, if you bring something that looks like one, they will take it away. But if you bring a real one, that's cool. You're fine.
So let's take a look here.
It's like a
Buzz Lightyear.
It's probably just like some zapper thing.
Souvenir. How do you spell that? It's a weird word.
S-Y, isn't it?
I don't know.
Souvenir.
See, I need someone smart to tell me this stuff.
And it's still wrong. Don't care anymore.
Something like that. So let's take a look at this one. Ready?
Yeah.
That's a Buzz Lightyear souvenir gun. That looks just like any production weapon I've seen in real life. Not.
Its resemblance is so uncanny.
It has a handle and a trigger. It must be a real gun. That's ridiculous.
If there is a turn of silence, it's because we are dumbfounded of how stupid people can be.
We're looking at fucking Google Images and wondering how the fuck TSA could do that to a kid. Really? Hey, take it out at TSA, pull the trigger, see it light up and make noise? Okay, kid, you're good. See you later. I don't get it.
Bag check, we have a futuristic weapon on our hands.
Everybody down, don't touch it. It might
lights
explode.
Up. Run!
That's stupid.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's all for show and to make the willingly ignorant feel better.
Stupid, willingly ignorant people.
Yeah, it's a horrifying thing when I think about it, because a guy can get through security with a gun, and I know the store that I work at, prices are horribly high.
That's because you've got a captive audience.
Yeah.
It's true.
You don't like the prices? Go ahead and leave the airport. Where are you going to go?
Across the street to a tavern?
Yeah, good luck getting back into the airport for your flight, though.
Exactly.
But, so it's like, oh, okay, that's great. You can get a gun in here, and our prices are high. Wonderful. I am scared for my life when I go to work. Well, continuing on. Speaking of things that people aren't really learning. Coming in from Nintendo, their next console, the NX, may already be doomed even before launch. This is going on with their conjoining chain of consoles with their unneeded peripherals now, to where third-party companies don't want to make and code and go through the time and effort for their peripherals when they can stay on an easy system like the PC, Xbox, or PlayStation 4. So saying that the NX is already dead even before it was alive.
It just came to me of what product I would buy from Nintendo. If Nintendo would do what Atari recently did and release a retro-looking console that had all the old games digitally on it, I would buy that. I
saw that. That looks cool.
I would buy a Nintendo version of that in a heartbeat. With the old
Super
games
Nintendo,
like Castlevania,
Mario 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, Super Mario 1, 2, and 3. Duck Hunt. I'm sorry, but
heck yeah.
Duck Hunt needs to be there. I'm pretty sure I had a Ninja Turtles game back then, so I'd want that. But yeah, I would want that. I would buy that from Nintendo right now. I mean, I still have an N64. I never had a Super Nintendo, so I would probably buy a similar version of that. Or if they did a Super Nintendo version that had the back regular Nintendo stuff. But that's where I think Nintendo needs to realize its market is. Their audience has grown up, but there's still a passion for those old games or that nostalgia. And why don't you do it instead of trying to let people create emulators to do it for other devices?
What?
You're already doing it on the Wii. You can play some of that stuff on the Wii right now.
Oh, come on. They're so bored with what they're doing, they're giving you the tools to make the game. Mario Maker.
I know, but dude, if you sold me a vintage NES with a hard drive that had all the old games on it, let's face it, original Super Mario probably takes up no memory at all. I would buy that. I would buy that right now. I'm poor, and I would buy that right now.
Release it for tablet. Release it for iPad.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be hard. All the controls for those old games are pretty straightforward. Actually, they're side to side, but...
Right, but we've talked about it before. Nintendo needs to go the way of Sega. Your consoles suck.
Yeah,
remake your games for tablet.
Yes.
It's definitely that system where it's I've said it before and I'll say it again. Stop using those stupid peripherals. No third-party developer wants to program in the waggle or the third-party screen. You know, how much do people does Nintendo not care about you playing their games that they say, yeah, you know what? Someone else can come in the room and take over the TV. You can still play it on the screen on your controller.
Yes.
That's the Wii U, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
It baffles me to show it's like how much companies don't listen to their clients. It's amazing. People don't want this. Oh, we'll still give it to you. We don't want it.
Yeah. Not only will we give it to you,
take it anyway.
We're forcing you to take it. That's what sucks.
I remember this was a few years back, but there was a poll where they asked which games would you like to see move from Japan and then translated over to America. And there were just like huge numbers on these votes. And they came out with like, oh, we have no future plans to move these games over. It's like, you massive morons.
Yeah. We just gave you the numbers to show you people will buy this right now. What do? We don't care.
Pretty much.
You are retarded.
I mean, it was the same thing with, going back, Silent Hill with Norman Reedus and Guillermo del Toro and Hideo Kojima. There's a petition, which I just recently read, that was 130,000 signatures strong, and Konami doesn't care. Now, I know that much really wouldn't be that enticing for a game developer, considering the sales and the production required for it. But obviously there's going to be more than that, just people playing the game. So it just baffles me to see that companies not wanting to give people what they want when people show they will buy it if it is given.
Well, that's what we talked about with the whole making content available digitally, like TV services and stuff. Give us the ability to acquire it legitimately, and we'll acquire it legitimately. But if you don't make it available for us, then we'll find other ways to get it too. I mean, we're still watching the content. We're just not letting you make any money out of it.
That goes into the piracy as well. It's where people will, download the copy of a game somewhere else, not buy it, or they'll import it. And I've heard multiple stories of people from the UK buying a version of a game from outside and then having it mailed to them.
Yep. It's not impossible.
So it's make the stuff people want, and you will see an amazing increase in sales.
Exactly.
Next.
Well, I wanted to talk about, obviously, we haven't touched on it yet, and that is the Paris terrorist situation. Bombings, and what was the count up? 128, 130 people by the end of the day?
I believe so.
Something about that. And then, obviously, the statement by Obama about wanting to bring in, what was it, 100,000 or 10,000 refugees into the U.S. And now we're seeing that there's upwards of 30 states that are saying, some are saying, absolutely not, we won't allow them in. And others are saying, we really don't want to be a part of this. I know some of the big outspoken ones are like Texas and Arkansas, and some of the central southern states, but the count's up to about 30 now. And I wanted to get some feedback from you guys on this whole thing.
Well, there have been raids against the... I believe it's ISIS, right, by now?
We're saying this is ISIS.
They have taken responsibility for the attacks. So, we're going to go in and pretty much... They believe they have killed the mastermind of the attack, and the cousin has suicidally blown herself up.
Okay.
And there have been videos stating that Washington, D.C. will be a target as well. You know, if you really want... Yeah, try that, by the way. You want to see the fury of hell come down on you, attack Washington, D.C.
Well, and that goes to another point, too. I mean, the U.S. is so quick to jump to other people's aid.
Oh, yeah.
That something like 50% of our armed forces are outside of the U.S. borders. So if something were to happen on U.S. soil, we only have a portion of our military at our disposal. And even then, you know, where are they located? You've got a military base in down near us, Camp Pendleton. You've got one up in Washington. You know, they're all over the place. Let's not, you know, diminish it. But there's not as many as there could be. And I think we can all agree that there's plenty of issues that could be addressed within our borders than outside. Now, I think we've all seen the posts on Facebook that after 9/11, France was in support of us in that tragedy and aftermath. And, you know, I'm not saying we shouldn't be supportive of other people either, but at the same time, we need to be mindful of ourselves too. And opening up our borders for refugees for Syria doesn't, you know, it doesn't mean we're putting us in a good place. And I think even another article I saw said that the two people responsible for the Boston Marathon bombing happened to be refugees.
Yep.
So
yeah, but you know what? We can't lose our humanity out of fear. These people are being displaced and they need help, and we should help where we can. Now, obviously, we can't rehome the entire country. I think it needs to be a global effort. But I guess the thing that strikes me as being an immigrant myself is, you know how sometimes you read those crazy stories in the paper about the small-time thief that steals something, maybe it's a bike, and then, comma being what it is, the bike gets stolen from them and they report it to the police because how dare somebody steal from them?
Sure.
Well, that to me seems very much how America is acting like right now. Guess what? None of you belong here. You're all children of immigrants.
Yes.
The only people that belong here, if we're going to go to belong, are Native Americans. So, you know, it's children of immigrants saying people shouldn't be allowed to immigrate.
Well, I don't think that's true.
It's a lot of bullshit.
I don't think that's accurate. I don't think anyone's saying we need to close our borders off to the world by any means. But when you know that Syria is a hotspot for terrorism and hostility, you then want to bring 10,000 or 100,000 Syrians over here.
Sure.
That makes a lot of people extremely uneasy. What if one of those immigrants, one of those refugees happens to be a terrorist, and it happens to affect your family directly? And you could have had to say that, no, we don't want potentially risky people here. Now, does that mean we can't not help them at all? No. We have alliances all over the world. We could rehome these people at any other place. We could find an area, a province, so to speak, that U.S. more or less owns without, you know, it being on the map, so to speak. as a interim, as a probationary type thing, instead of bringing them to U.S. soil where, someone who might be infiltrating for malicious intent is going to want.
Okay, so let me throw it out this way.
No, you can't. Your view is wrong, Brad. The end.
I don't give a shit. Shut up. First of all these states, or it doesn't mean jack. They don't have this authority. Immigration is a federal issue, and once they're accepted into the United States, it's these United States. There's free travel between the states, so it's all a political gesture anyway, and it's complete bullshit.
It is. I mean,
okay.
You're right. The states, if the federal government wants to come down and say, you have to allow these people in, the state, unless they want to try to fight it in Supreme Court, saying, under whatever laws that they can try to drum up, more or less, as you said, don't have the jurisdiction to oppose that more or less mandate.
Okay, so let me throw this one at you. What I'm hearing is we have to be careful because some of these people might be terrorists.
Some terrorists might sneak in using the system.
Yes, that is the statement.
You know what? Won't deny that at all. That is a possibility. The 9/11 terrorists were here legally as students.
Yes.
So do we stop all immigration? Because what if some of them might be terrorists? Maybe we should not allow any foreigners in.
That's right. Kick them all out.
You run that with
Kick them all out. Okay.
You're going back to Australia, Brad. See ya.
While we're kicking all the foreigners out,
yes,
let's think about the people that we have here.
Yes.
Now, I will not deny for 1 second that what happened in Paris is an absolute tragedy. There are 130 families that are hurting.
Yes.
Because of that incident.
Correct.
Every day in the United States, just shy of 200 people are affected by gun violence.
Yes.
50 odd get killed every day. The other 130, 140 are injured by gun violence. Now, the majority of that, statistically, is perpetrated by white males.
Yes.
So, maybe we should ban all gun sales to white males, because you might shoot somebody. Maybe.
Yes. No.
Well, that's the same logic. There is a chance that somebody that we allow in the borders might be a terrorist. And we will deal with that.
And the statement you make also is true in regards to terrorists don't always just come from Syria. They can come from any other country under any other standard immigration rules, legal, whatever, immigration processes from anywhere. So, and so unless you're going to do some sort of extremely in-depth background, which the federal government is not willing to do, or not able to do, or whatever label you want to.
It's not financially accessible. Let's just say that's the way they're going to use for that.
Then there's no way to truly make all border or immigration safe, and you're always, whether it's Syria refugees or immigrants from Mexico for whatever. You still run the same potential risk. The risk factors percentage might be slightly higher from Syrian refugees, but it doesn't, by pure numbers, the amount of immigrants from, say, Mexico or Canada or anywhere else are so much higher on a regular basis that, you can't stop it.
And I don't think we should. Let them in. Help them out. These people are hurting. They need our help. Now, while we're on the subject of investigating people, I would like to point out that, your suggestion before they come in, maybe we should do in-depth background. All the people involved in 9/11 were on watch lists.
Yeah.
The people that were just involved in the French bombing were on watch lists. These were people we fucking knew were terrorists, and we couldn't do jack shit about it.
Or chose not to. Yeah.
Well, whatever.
What's
Whether
the point
it's
of a watch list if
conspiracy
no
and we
one's
chose
watching
not
it?
to, or
Yeah.
we just that incompetent. Doing a background check, what's that going to accomplish? We will know that maybe, their brother's friend's cousin once spoke to a guy in the street that was connected to ISIS. And now what?
Yeah. A watch list is only something to be concerned with, not that there's evidence on. So there's validation in that statement too.
So I think we have to be careful that we don't lose our humanity in the fear-mongering. The part of what made this country great is it was a melting pot. The whole thing with the Statue of Liberty, the poor, the oppressed. That's what made America great. Now with the rampant, blinding patriotism, that it's all about America and Americans only, without remembering where we came from. I think it's extremely dangerous.
You're going to make me cry. You bring up a lot of very valid points, and from someone of your background, you dirty bastard.
I ain't from around here.
You definitely have that perspective. I've read a few or glanced at a few articles. I'm not going to lie to say that I actually read them, because that would be blatant bullshit. A lot of other countries, when something like this happens, even Paris, they said, at the wake of the attacks, they, for all intents and purposes, claim to have closed their borders completely. And, for out of the fear, out of the concern, and the statement that's been kind of floating around, obviously, in the social media world and media in general is, when you have a bully picking on you, you don't invite him over for dinner. Or you don't have them, over for a sleepover. And so, there is that fear that 1, 2, 10, 100, who knows? Refugees, none, who knows? Might be terrorists with malicious intent, and are seeking to act upon that once inside our borders.
Okay, but let me point something out here. The sheer name that we have given them, we don't consider them. We don't. They are, but we don't label them murderers.
Isn't that funny?
We don't label them, huh?
That is funny.
Continue. But that's not what they're about. That's tangential to their mission. They're terrorists.
Yeah.
Killing people is not their mission. Killing people is very effective to get them to their mission. Their mission is to make us scared.
Yeah.
And we're playing into their plan beautifully. We're running scared. We're scared of everybody that's not my color or my religion or my philosophy. You might be dangerous. I'm scared of you.
Yeah.
You know who didn't close their borders? Germany.
Interesting.
Oh, they just they brought people in and
I
then locked
dare
them
you.
up. They just like, oh yeah, come on in,
Okay.
great. Concentration camp.
But here's the country that had issues with genocide, that had issues with some really nasty stuff in their past.
Yeah, they've
And
perfected
they're
it.
showing us up.
Are they showing us up, or do they have a little plan in the back of their head? Hitler Mark II.
No.
I joke. It's very, very interesting. And like you said, we label them terrorists. What does that mean? Well, to invoke terror, to put fear in the hearts of people. Now, we have seen with Americans that a lot of people, yes, that we act upon the fear. However, at the same time, the fear drives us. The fear drives us to seek out and find those that are dangerous and put an end to it, so we don't have to be fearful anymore. one method of acting on the fear is closing the borders and hiding behind our walls, so to speak. The other action of fear is, like I said, the driving force to go hunt down those responsible, those affiliated, and prevent, to the best of our ability, this from happening again.
And I will agree with you completely that we need to hold responsible those that have caused this. We need to be careful that in doing so, we're not broad brushing. You know, there are Muslims that have done terrible things. That does not make all Muslims bad.
Agreed.
Guess what? There are Christians that have done terrible things. And there
Agreed.
are atheists that have done terrible things.
No, they're not.
That doesn't
Atheists
make
are perfect.
all of them bad. I don't know. I know a couple asshole atheists. Anyway,
Shut up. Call me an asshole.
Just because there are some bad does not make them all bad, but that's what this is turning into. You know, there is such vitriol, such hatred that is coming out of this.
Oh God, what was
You
that?
know, there are people that are ready to condemn entire groups of people because of the actions of a few.
What was that? There's that one song about Japanese internment camps in
Song called it's called Kenji by Fort Minor, which is a spin-off group of Linkin Park, and it's about a Japanese American immigrant who was put into an internment camp during World War II.
Go listen to it.
It's a fantastic song. It really, really is. And it's a good point, Wade. It kind of plays into a lot of this. Yeah, it's very, very good. I like it.
Well, and in the closing statements here, we are over our hour mark now. Not all Muslims are terrorists. Not all terrorists are Muslim.
Correct. There have been some documented cases in the U.S. history from some terrorist attack that happened to be enacted by white Christian males. No! Yeah, no, obviously there's a lot of stigma going on. I won't deny that. I mean, I have a statement and it's going to be very bigoted. It's not very bigoted, but
I'll be the
it does kind of play into the fear. But if people of a Muslim religion or a Syrian, or could be misinterpreted as Syrian, are around, and knowing that there's this fear or this stigma or concern, you know, what should they do, if anything, maybe nothing, to put at ease those that might be concerned?
Are you saying it? Are you victim blaming?
No, but I'm saying
That's
that if a society like the United States, and some regions, I won't say all, have this fear that I'm not going to say is not founded. Obviously, there's justifications for the fear. But if you feel that you could be grouped into this class of people, I say class, it's not right, but associated, should you do something to help put those of fear at ease?
You should live your life.
Here's the thing. Get to know the people around you. Don't make offhand assumptions of people. Make sure...
Let me prove to you that I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do it.
Oh, you have.
Invite
Convinced.
me over for dinner once. If I'm an asshole, you don't ever have to do it again. If you like the dish I bring, well, guess what? I guess I've just earned a second dinner date.
I guess we're friends.
Yeah. So...
Have food, will travel.
Please do not make offhand assumptions just because of one... How do I say this? Just because of a certain group's actions, because they happen to be extremists of that group.
There's a really good video, actually. I forget what it was, and I actually almost forget the context. But it's some sort of a small panel. I don't know if it was like at a school or whatever, but it talked about some sort of more or less Muslim blaming, or I don't think it was about that, but it came up, and this gal on this panel really kind of bashed a questioner.
Yeah. Okay.
Because this person talked about, well, what about all the other Muslims that do good things? And the gal said, well, no one's blaming all the Muslims, but there's roughly a 25% are radical, and 25% of so many million is a lot of people, and that's a huge concern. God, I wish I knew what that was from. I may try to find it and throw it up on the Facebook page.
You know what we should do? We should have
really
people sit down and then like make them like say things that is that's kind of hard to do, because like you want to make them say things that they would really never say if they were actually radical, but it's really hard to do. So that way you could actually kind of oust them, but I don't really know how that would work.
You're essentially talking about a lie detector test and a backwards way of doing it.
Yeah.
Anyway, like Wade said, we're well over our hour mark. We apologize for that rant, rave, and
we
otherwise, yeah, sore subject, not sore.
We could be talking about
Heavy
this
subject
for days.
We could. We're not going to. We're going to stop here. So, we do thank you for listening, even if today's was maybe a little bit tougher than previous ones. And we do encourage you to like us at Facebook, facebook.com/abundance.not. Follow us on Twitter. We are well over 500 and are doing the Amazon raffle. We might extend that a little bit as the end of the month is coming soon. So do follow us on Twitter at AbundanceNot. And I will see you guys all in 2 weeks.
Keep on gaming.
Happy Thanksgiving. That's a wrap.